Let me introduce you to an exciting journey into the world of drama, where epochs, culinary masterpieces, and palace intrigues are intertwined. The viewer is transported to the Joseon era. Yong, an ordinary modern woman, is brought before King Li Hong, and the verdict seems to be a foregone conclusion: the death penalty. However, to everyone's surprise, the king unexpectedly appoints her his personal cook. Yong herself is determined to survive and at all costs find a way to return to her world. A flashback reveals the circumstances of how she got into the past. We see Yong, an enthusiastic participant in a prestigious culinary competition in France in 2025. At the crucial moment, a few minutes before the end of the competition, her stove suddenly fails. Undeterred, she shows ingenuity and builds an improvised oven made of race straw, managing to finish her dish at the last moment. The competition task was to prepare a dish worthy of the royal table. Yong presents a venison steak inspired by the reign of King Yi Hong in Joseon. Her culinary skills bring her an unconditional victory and the coveted position of chef in a restaurant awarded 3 Michelin stars. Overjoyed, Yong shares the news with her father on the phone. He informs her that his friend, a professor from Paris, is going to give her an old book from the Joseon era which needs to be forwarded to him. After receiving the package with the book, Yong rushes to catch a flight to Korea. Unexpectedly, one of the passengers accidentally spills coffee on her valuable cargo. Worried, she tries to save the book in the airplane bathroom. It turns out that this is an old culinary reference book, on the last page of which is written a love letter addressed to the beloved of the author with a plea for return. Suddenly, a solar eclipse begins outside. The book begins to emit a mysterious light, and Yong is pulled into a vortex that transports her into a dense forest. She finds herself trapped by animals hanging helplessly in a net attached to a tree. Meanwhile, King Li Hong enjoys hunting in the forest. His chief servant warns him of possible rebel attacks, but the king seems oblivious to the danger. Yong comes to her senses and is overcome with panic. Li Hong chases the fox and his arrows accidentally free her from the trap. Mistaking her for a female ghost, he is ready to attack her. At that moment, a rebel appears from an ambush and shoots an arrow at the king. The arrow hits the target, and Li Hong and Yong fall off the cliff into the water. Yong wakes up on the shore next to the wounded and unconscious king. She gives him first aid, bandaging the wound. However, upon waking up, Li Hong attacks her again with a knife. During the struggle, she stuns him again, ties him up, and leads him through the forest, trying to find a way back to civilization. They come across abandoned huts in the area that Li Hong has vacated to expand his hunting grounds. Yong remembers a tyrant king named Yongkagong, known for his brutal politics, unaware that this is the king in front of her. She also mentions the Chehan practice, where women from all over the country were forcibly brought to the palace. Suddenly, Yong finds a girl hiding in one of the houses. It turns out that this is one of the former villagers. Yong explains the situation to her and suggests cooking dinner for everyone. She uses products found in the house and adds butter and hot sauce that happen to be in her pocket. Both the king and Jiljum initially find the dish too spicy, but soon begin to enjoy its taste. The taste of bibimbap evokes Li Hong's memories of his mother and even makes him cry. After dinner, the girls go in search of the cliff where her bag was left. On the way, they stop at a stream so Yong can wash her face. There, the girl convinces Yong that she is in the Joseon era. Meanwhile, Li Hong's men find him, and he orders them to track down Yong, who insulted him. The episode ends with the soldiers finding the girls by a stream, and they end up at Governor Hong's residence. Acceptance of the inevitable overtakes Yong, and she makes a stormy scene, acknowledging her fate as a prisoner of the past. Chehan inspectors arrive, dividing the women into 2 groups. Contrary to expectations, Yong and Jiljum find themselves in a group not meant for the royal court. Instead, they are assigned to work in the kitchen, which turns out to be a real challenge. The shortage of ingredients and the flight of most of the kitchen staff create an almost impossible task. Salvation comes in the form of a deal with the inspector. Yong promises to surprise the honored guests with delicious food in exchange for the freedom of all women. Yong accepts the challenge and decides to cook a steak, but the hardness of the meat requires the use of modern sous vide technology. At the same time, King Li Hong, having discovered Yong's hairpin by the river, realizes that it was forcibly taken away as part of the cheon. When dinner is served, the guests complain about the meager portions of meat. Yong asks for a chance, offering his life as a guarantee of taste. The guests agree, and despite their obvious enjoyment of the taste, they falsely claim to be tasteless. Yong is taken away to be severely punished. Suddenly an overbearing voice is heard demanding that the bullying stop. It's Li Hong. He decides to act as a judge, and after tasting the dish, he is delighted, especially with the secret ingredient, a monosodium glutamate substitute developed by her. Yong realizes that this is a true connoisseur of taste. Li Hong begins the interrogation, demanding an explanation about her background. Taking a risk, she announces her arrival from the future. Naturally, the king thinks she's crazy. He gives the order to bring Yong to the palace the next day. Li Hong releases everyone except Governor Hong. He accuses him of neglecting the state and being attracted to women, which displeases his subjects. It becomes known that Li Hong is manipulating the situation as part of a revenge plan, as the governor is involved in the tragic death of his mother. For blasphemy against the king, the governor was sent into exile. Back in chains, Yong confesses to Giljum that she came from the future. The girl believes her, and thanks to an old cookbook from a bag left on the cliff, they can return home. She invites Giljum to go with her to the future. Upon reaching the cliff, they search for the bag, but are caught by Li Hong, who has learned of their escape. Yong begs for the bag back, but Li Hong throws it into the abyss. Soon both girls, bound by antique chains in the style of Chosun, appear in front of the palace. In the distance, the courtiers discuss a plan to overthrow Li Hong. The prince suspects treachery, but he is sure that he is watching every step of those close to him. Mok Shu, the king's concubine, is warmly welcomed at the palace gates. Yong remembers Mok Ju as a scheming woman who manipulates the king. The episode ends with Li Hong promising that Yong will beg for death. The king makes a cruel joke of Yong by imprisoning her in a special place, an artfully organized prison right in the palace. Meanwhile, the scheming concubine Mok Yu witnesses the extraction of the arrowhead from Li Hong's wound. She secretly kidnaps him while the doctor is distracted. The king's guesses are confirmed. Yong saved his life by stopping the bleeding. The concubine passes the arrowhead to Prince Jezing, weaving a web of intrigue and trying to find out details about Chaihan and the mysterious Ji Yun in order to use her for her own purposes. At night, a mysterious masked man frees Yong and Giljum from their imprisonment and leads them to a secret arena where masked men sing and indulge in unbridled dancing. The king, hiding among them, exposes his deception to see Yong's real reaction. He threatened to brand Giljum with a red-hot iron if Yong tried to escape from the palace again. The king declares that he is hungry and demands that Yong prepare food for him. They are taken to the royal kitchen, where the appearance of a female chef causes a storm of indignation among the men. They leave the kitchen in protest. Using the deer meat left over from the royal hunt, Yong decides to cook a steak. She creates a culinary masterpiece with lightning speed and introduces the king to the delights of high French cuisine. Li Hong is delighted with each of the 3 dishes served by Yong. Fred Deer Tongue brings back touching moments from childhood and dinners with his mother. The concubine tries to enter the king's chambers, but her way is blocked. For the first time, Li Hong himself asks her to come later, which shocks her. Li Hong finds himself under a barrage of criticism when ministers submit their resignations. The concubine spreads rumors about Yong's involvement in the scandal with the governor. Li Hong, in response to the rebellion, appoints Yong as the main royal chef, but her life hangs in the balance. If she serves the same dish twice or the king does not like it, she will face the death penalty. The girls get a new room and clothes to work in the kitchen. Cooks do everything to ruin Yong's life. They mix salt with flour and blunt knives. For me, the first episode was too fixated on the comical misunderstanding between the characters. Endless arguments about who is the king and who is just not a very good actor began to tire and slow down the pace. The second episode is a completely different matter. The plot comes to life, minor characters come to the fore, and palace intrigues begin to weave into sinister patterns. The third episode takes us straight to the palace, where Yong will have to win his place under the sun, or rather above the stove. Overall, Yong remains the heart and soul of the series. Palace politics reveals itself in all its guile. Many characters, each with their own motives, create a tangled tangle of interests, especially when Yong has to confront numerous detractors. Obviously, the mystery of Li Hong's mother's death will become a key storyline. However, it is a little alarming that the king sees her reflection in Yong, who, as we understand it, will become his lover in the future. This is a drama that mixes the ingredients of comedy, romance, palace intrigue, and of course, delicious dishes. My appetite is whetted. I'm looking forward to the continuation of the drama and your comments.